I'm ready.
So wait, you're just gonna tell us that you're better than us, and we know it.
I don't even have to tell you that.
Where is Mr. Hungover Kyle O'Reilly, whatever his name
Goodness,
is?
I have a bad feeling that Kyle's been very silent. Like
What? Guys, there's a pay-per-view coming up, and you know what that means? The Major Players podcast. That's right, the most must-see podcast in all of pro wrestling YouTube. And as you guys can see, we're down to a two-man commentary team. Of course, as always, I am, well, not as always, because usually in the spot, there's Vaz, your mother's favorite podcaster, but unfortunately he had some family things to attend to. So I'm taking over the hosting duties on this one. I'm the Mitchell Cole, the Mitchell's playing Mitchell's Cole of this commentary team. You got your CEO of PWC, your boy Nashville, and I'm chilling here with our resident legal bald eagle himself. He's better than you, and you know it. Holy Sheeta, Jeremy. How's it going, Jeremy, over there?
I'm good. I'm also reverse Excalibur today. Hello, everybody. I can't keep it on though. It's too hot in here.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Well, it's actually cold and rainy over here where I am. So if I was wearing it, I'd keep it on. I also see that you're trying to tell us that you're better than us and we know it.
Look, I just want to go on record as saying that I am an MJF fan. However, this scarf here is not exactly mine. I may have borrowed it from my sister.
Well, it's close enough. It's close enough to match. And he's actually going to be on this card. I did notice that they actually haven't added the MJF versus Wardlow match to the Double or Nothing card. But we're actually going to talk about it. There's 11 matches on this card. But before I get into that, I'd like to encourage everybody, please like and subscribe to our channel for more great content like this. I also want to state on the record that Kyle may or may not be joining us on this this prediction. So if he jumps on midway, he'll chip in. But until then, myself and Jeremy are going to make up the predictions for him. And I do actually have Vaz's predictions here via WhatsApp.
We need results from the last one because I know I'm not last anymore.
I don't actually have Vaz's results, but I'm sure he'll pull us in. He didn't send it to me, unfortunately.
Yeah, like I said, that's convenient.
Very convenient, I should say.
Because all I know is, and I'm going on record as saying this. I swept the last one. I completely swept it. I got everything right. Even the one that you guys were giving me flack for. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
Listen, I was going to say Cody Rhodes, but Vaz, in his
peer pressure. Peer pressure got me.
Vision affected me.
On
that note, I do see Kyle has read the messages. I don't know whether he's joining us or not, but he's typing. Kyle is typing. Isn't that fantastic?
This is as live as it gets, people.
This is as live as it gets, people. We're not even kidding. Look, I'm going to show them. Kyle is typing. He's going to see this video later and he's going to be like, what the hell?
No, he started typing and then he stopped.
And now he started
again. Okay.
He can't.
Come on. We're faffing now. We're faffing. We need to get on with this card. We've got 11.
Yeah.
Yikes.
All right, so I'm going to run down the card real quick, and then obviously I'm going to ask you for your overall thoughts before we get into each match prediction. So here we go. Double or Nothing 2021 AEW card looks a little bit like this. On the pre-show, we have one match already announced. It is Hook and Danhausen. And by the way, I found out something yesterday, and I know I'm probably late to the party, but I just found out that Hook is actually Taz's real-life son. his legitimate son. I didn't even know that until yesterday.
You cannot be serious. I've not.
I'm not making this up. Like it's officially on his bio. He is Taz as a real
Okay,
life
I
son.
know I was late to the whole NXT thing, but I caught up quite quickly. Right? Right?
Yeah.
It's taken. This guy's been on TV for a while, and you've never wondered what Hook was doing on there, and why he used the moves that he does.
No, I've never watched a Hook match like from start to finish. I don't watch the buy-in, so
No, look,
unfortunately, I've never watched
he's been on
the buy-in.
Rampage quite a bit. He debuted on Rampage. He's got a killer entrance theme though. That I've never heard that song before that. Yeah, but it's actually weird. I think that I'm moving over to AEW a little bit more, especially after what's been going on with WWE in the past few weeks. It's left a real crappy taste in my mouth, man. Seriously, I'm not happy. I'm really not. I'm surprised you haven't said anything, considering it's one of your favorites that it's happening to. But yeah, a little bit off topic.
I've refrained from saying anything. I neither will confirm nor deny the allegations. Oh, so Kyle officially says, I ain't joining you guys. You guys can go do this on yourself. I really don't care about AEW. And he sent me his predictions.
He ruined the fun, man. We can't do picks for him and Vaz today.
However, there's one match both of Vaz and Kyle have missed out. And I'm going to get to that as we go through the card. So we have free reign with one match.
Yeah,
so,
I see they have it. Yeah. I think I know which one it is, though. I think I know exactly which one it is. Yeah.
I think you know which one it is. So
the one I'm
on the pre-show, like on the buy-in of Double or Nothing 2022, we have Hook and Danhausen teaming up in a tag team match against the Premier athlete Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling. They're promoting it as sort of like a handicap match, but it's a tag. So officially, this is a tag match. Then we get onto the official listed card. We have one of my favorite AEW women's wrestlers, that is Jade Cargill, defending an AEW TBS Championship against Anna Jay. And of course, Cargill will have her baddie section by her side in Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet. Then we have the men's Owen Hart Cup tournament final. It's going to be Adam Cole, baby, versus either Samoa Joe or Kyle O'Reilly. Again, we're going to get 1 point for if we get obviously the last participant in this tournament final correct. We're going to get 2 points if we get the women's Owen Hart Cup tournament finalists correct. We have either Toni Storm or Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on either Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander. Then we have the AEW Women's World Championship, Thunder Rosa finally taking on a woman who I believe deserved this title shot so long ago, and that is Serena Deeb. Then we have a three-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. We got Jurassic Express, that's Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, with Christian Cage, taking on Team Taz, that's Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, taking on Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Then we have the Anarchy in the Arena match. That's the Jericho Appreciation Society, consisting of Chris Jericho, Vaz's favorite, Mark Menard, Angelo Parker, Daniel Garcia, and Jake Hager, taking on the unlikely team of Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz, and the Blackpool Combat Club. That is Brian Danielson and Jock Moxley with William Regal. Apparently, Wheeler Yuta is not listed in this, even though he's part of the BCC. Then we have one of the recent matches announced, that is the six-man tag team match. It's House of Black, that's Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King, versus the Death Triangle, that's Park, Pinto, Oscuro, and Ray Phoenix, with Alex Abrahantes. Then we have a tag team match, and this actually is a closet tag team match, a dream match for me. That's the Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy versus the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson, with Brandon Cutler. And in the main event, we have the singles match for the AEW World Championship. That is Hangman Adam Page versus Jeremy's favorite wrestler, CM Punk. And the unofficial listed match that we are going to predict, and that is one that's yet to be announced, the 11th match on the card, and that is MJF, Maxwell, Jacob Friedman with Sean Spears versus Wardlow. So yeah, quite a packed card of 11 matches. So Jeremy, before we get into the matches, give me your quick thoughts. What do you think of this card overall?
I love it. I love it. This is going to be wall to wall. The only thing that I hope for is that it doesn't become a spot fest. I hope there's some type of balanced booking going into this whole thing where we see like proper matches, and it's not just. But I know it's going to happen that way with the Jericho Appreciation Society match, and
Mhm.
I hope it's not all that though. I hope there's some type of balance. I hope that guys like Regal now being involved in it are able to like speak to some sense of sanity. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy about this, man. I just it's gonna be a full card. I wonder how long this show is gonna go, and I just hope that it comes off on as well as it looks like on paper. I hope that's the way it comes across.
Well, ever since the very first Double or Nothing in 2019, I always viewed this pay-per-view as more of like the WrestleMania of AEW. That's just basically how I viewed it. Between Double or Nothing or All Out, I'm not sure. It's a battle of which is the real WrestleMania of AEW. But they packed this card so much. But they did the same with All Out last year, and I mentioned my All Out review. I mentioned this on Full Gear, and I mentioned this on Revolution. The only pet peeve I have about AEW and their pay-per-views, not the premium live events, that's what WWE calls them, but AEW's pay-per-views, I hate the fact that they pack it up so much. And this has always been a pet peeve I had with WWE back in like the mid 2010s, so like 2015, 16. They were putting way too many matches on the card. I remember, I don't know if it was a SummerSlam or WrestleMania. There were like 15 or 16 matches on that card. And that pay-per-view went for like 5 hours. It was ridiculous.
It was before Mania went over to the 2-night format, and I think it's the one where Cole lost his voice as well. I think it was the Mania that Cole lost his voice on. I think that
Cole lost his voice.
yeah. Don't you remember towards the main event he sounded like completely hoarse. He was like, I'm pretty sure it was Mania. I'm pretty sure it was a Mania. And they were even talking about the bathroom breaks for these guys that there was that they worked the entire thing for. Oh, and just in case anyone's wondering, yes, I was booked in a match yesterday, and unfortunately, the Clipper won, and I have no mustache as a result. So yeah, maybe by the next time I would have learned to shave properly. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, when you get old enough, then you'll shave properly.
Jackass.
I'm no Johnny Knoxville, that's for sure.
You know what? I think at some point we need to invite the people that are not on our WhatsApp group just to we'll send you screenshots to see what really happens to the build up to one of these things. It's quite interesting.
Okay, well, that's like my only pet peeve is the fact that they've loaded up this card so much. But we're going to get into these predictions. And like I said, Kyle and Bears, unfortunately, have sent us their predictions, except for one match that they've missed out. But we're going to predict for them on that one.
We'll help them.
But
being the good Christian people, well, good people, not Christian, sorry. Being the good people that we are.
Being the humble good Samaritans we are, we will help them out. We'll that's how good-hearted we are. We don't have to, but we're going to do it for them.
It's like a brother love thing. I love you, brother Vass and brother Kyle.
Brother Kyle, I knew you won't come. So let's get into this. The first match we're going to do our predictions for is only match announced for the pre-show, and that is Hook and Danhausen versus the Premier Athlete Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling. So Jeremy, give us your predictions for that one.
Whichever team that Mark Sterling is on, they're gonna lose. Look, it's Danhausen and Hook. I don't see them losing anything at this point in time. And Tony likes to book the faces, and I have a feeling that a lot of matches are going to go the way of the face for this one. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I don't understand exactly the whole Danhausen thing. That's not to say that I don't like it. I love the fact that the guys are. I mean, we grew up on 80s, and I grew up on 80s and 90s wrestling. I was a wrestling plumber. There was a wrestling ice hockey player.
Yep.
We've watched Stranger Things. We've watched a man wrestle for 30 years as a /zombie /biker /cult leader /whatever. I don't get why people knock the whole Danhausen thing. I like it. I don't understand it, but I like it. That being said, yeah, I don't see them losing. I don't see Hook and Danhausen losing. I will say I hope that they can get Danhausen to do a bit more serious stuff with Hook. I don't want him to be like diluted and lose his whole his edge, as it were. Yeah, but I've realized something recently. I think we've started to, personally, I started to take wrestling a bit too seriously. And the moment I started stepping back and started liking the goofy stuff again and really enjoying the goofy stuff and stop looking at everything like an athletic contest, I've really started enjoying the everything again. Yeah, but Hookhausen for the win.
Yeah, well, Vaz and Kyle are also going with Hookhausen for the win, and so am I. I mean, Hook has been on a winning streak as of late, so I don't see a reason why he should lose.
He hasn't lost. Hook hasn't lost.
He hasn't. He hasn't lost a single match as of recently. I think he's on a winning streak, and I see it continuing. And I do like his whole MMA gimmick that he's coming with. It really, it adds some, flair to him. Being that MMA gimmick, not actually having come from MMA itself, he's just been a wrestler his entire life, but just having that gimmick gives him so much of credit. And like we said before we started the video, a lot of people did not know this, and I didn't know it until just yesterday when I was looking at this matchup. But Hook is actually the son of Taz.
Actually, the son of Taz.
Yes, and what shocked me even more is the fact that he has more hair than Taz has ever had in his entire career.
Oi. That's uncalled for, man. Yeah. That's uncalled for.
I know. You look like the Indian version of Taz. Yeah.
You gotta see my kids. At some point, you gotta see my kids, and then you'll know exactly what Taz feels like. I know what he feels like. I've got two hairy-ass kids running around here.
Hairy-ass kids within puberty. Everything's going everywhere. And you're the only one with the cool breeze through your hair. Oh, sorry, through your hair.
Through my scalp.
So, yeah, I'm going with Hookhausen. We have nothing more to say here. This is just a pre-show match to get the storyline going. Moving on to the main card and the official announced matches on the card. First up, we're going to be tackling the AEW TBS Championship. That is Jade Cargill with Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet taking on Anna Jay for her title. Before we get into those predictions, obviously, since Kyle loves being such an ambassador for the women's division, I'll read out his prediction first. He's obviously going with Jade Cargill because that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And so is Vaz. Vaz is also going with Jade Cargill for the win. My personal thoughts, yes, I'm going with Jade Cargill for the win as well because, like I said, she's probably my favorite women's wrestler on the AEW women's division, and I see her going very far with this title in this run. And I don't see it ending against someone like Anna Jay. They haven't built up anyone credible to the point that looks like they could dethrone Jade Cargill. Anna Jay to me just looks like another competitor for Cargill to just run through. Yeah, exactly. She's just gonna eat her up like a monster munch, and that's all this match is gonna be. So I'm going with Jade Cargill for the win. Don't know if it's gonna be a good match or not, but Cargill's a pretty good wrestler. I think she's gonna be the one to carry the
Oh,
match.
look, she's
So yeah,
definitely. Oh, sorry, she's
Jamie.
definitely getting better. She's definitely if you've watched her earlier stuff compared to the way she
Mm-hmm.
works now, she's a lot smoother. She transitions a lot better. She you can see there's still spots where she's like calling and everything else in the ring.
Yeah.
But I think she's getting there. I think they AEW there's certain wrestlers they've dropped the ball on. Miro, for example, as being stuck in the matrix for one. But I don't think they got. I don't think they've made that mistake with Jade, and I don't think. I think they're gonna book her all the way. I actually see. You know what? This is actually quite scary. I just realized something. They booking her this exact same way that
Uh-huh.
WWE booked the Ultimate Warrior.
Really?
If you think about it, when Warrior came in, he okay. He worked a little bit before that, but he
Uh-huh.
got the he got the Intercontinental title, ran with it all the way to Mania, and beat Hogan for it. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if they're going to do the same thing with Jade, that she only drops a belt after taking that main title or any loss for that matter.
Yeah.
So
So you're
yeah,
going with Cargill.
I actually like her. I actually think that she's probably one of the better things that AEW is doing at this point. Sorry guys, if I'm looking off screen, it's because I've got another screen on this side with the result, with the match card and everything on this side here. So
I've got the same thing here, brother. I've got another phone here in front of me. So if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at it and trying to make predictions. So okay, so I think for the first two matches, we're all in sync.
all the
We
same.
all agree Jade Cargill and Cookhouse is the win. Moving on to the Owen Hart tournaments, and we're going to tackle the men's one first. And so far, as of this recording, we only have Adam Cole announced as the finalist. We are waiting to see, because we're recording this a week ahead. We're still going to see whether it's going to be Kyle O'Reilly or Samoa Joe that's going to be going on to face Adam Cole at the pay-per-view for the men's Owen Hart Cup. It'd be really weird if they were competing for the women's cup, but yeah, it's for the Owen Hart Men's Cup. And I'm going to give you my predictions. Listen, and one more thing I'd like to mention. We're going to get 1 point if we correctly guess who the finalists will be. And obviously another point if we correctly guess the winner. So this one, I've been giving it a lot of thought, and I've taken into account the storylines and the backstories behind both the guys that could be facing Cole. On one hand, you have Kyle O'Reilly. And if we were ever to see Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole again, I mean, we've seen them at NXT TakeOver, and the amazing unsanctioned match they had was absolutely brilliant. And I mean, them in a single one-on-one match for something so prestigious like the Owen Hart Cup, I think these should be put on a show stealer. And for a huge pay-per-view like Double or Nothing, I think it would be great. And you take into account the backstories with the Red Dragon and the Young Bucks and stuff like that. Could make for some interesting run-ins and interferences, but I think they've simmered down on that storyline just a little bit. The storyline on Samoa Joe's side is he's got Sumit Singh, Sonjay Dutt, and Jay Lethal, coming after him, and that storyline is still embroiled. So if I'm looking at it from a booker's perspective, I see, those three getting involved either during Samoa Joe's qualifying match or more likely costing him the Owen Hart Cup. So the way I see it going, while Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole would be a great match and I want to see it, I see the likeliness of Samoa Joe going on to face Adam Cole at the pay-per-view. And that's where the trio of Dutt, Singh, and Lethal are going to cost Joe the match and the cup. And Adam Cole is going to walk out with that cup. And because I see the face-heel paradigm. I'm always into the face-heel paradigm. And that's something that we're not getting with the main event, with the AEW World Championship is concerned. We're getting it with the cup matches. So keeping in mind the face heel paradigm, I think Joe's going to go on to the pay-per-view, but he's not going to win. It's going to be Adam Cole for the win. So my prediction, Joe's going to go on to the pay-per-view, but Cole's going to win. Looking at Kyle's predictions, he's predicting Kyle O'Reilly to go on to the pay-per-view. And as far as Vaz is concerned, he's with me. He's going with Samoa Joe to go on to the pay-per-view and Adam Cole to win it. Actually, looking at Kyle's predictions, I think he's saying that Kyle O'Reilly is going to go on to the finals and win the cup.
Yeah, that's how I understand it.
I see him losing already the 1 point, but anyways, it's vintage Kyle.
But if you remember, I think it was on Rampage this week, they had a promo where they were talking about the finger poke of doom. Did you miss that? Yeah. I actually thought that was a nice throwback for them to mention that. I know nobody else wants to talk about it, but it did happen, guys.
There was also an Dynamite finger poke of doom with Britt Baker's match against, I forgot her name, the Japanese wrestler.
Jimmy. No.
No. It was something with M.
It was this week. It was on Dynamite. I don't remember the name. Give me a second.
Right at the beginning of the match, they mentioned Britt Baker's previous association with her, and then they were like shaking hands, and then she went down on her back, like to give her the pin, but she kicked out. It was like a whole rouge going on. Yeah, so there's been a lot of references to that, but I honestly don't see Kyle O'Reilly going into the pay-per-view. But maybe I could be wrong. But what are your thoughts on this match?
Look. I don't have to. You guys know I've been a Joe fan for ages. I worship at the throne that is the power game. I'm an up down fan. I love Joey Head Rocker, and I'll miss him on that show. That being said, I do want Joe to go on and win the whole thing. I would love for a pure technical wrestler to win the Owen Hart Cup. To me, it makes sense. It makes a lot more sense than having an opening match with two high flyers and have it unsanctioned for no apparent reason. Talking to you, Mr. Phone in hand, Darby Allin versus Jeff Hardy, throwing themselves.
I'm hearing this, but I'm dismissing it from my mind.
Throwing themselves around the ring for no apparent reason, because we all know that.
To pro wrestling,
what a big deathmatch proponent Owen Hart was. Yeah,
that is irrelevant.
Okay, all right. We'll gloss that over. We'll move past it. No, but look, nothing would make me happier. I must be honest. Nothing would make me happier than for Samoa Joe to go on and win the whole thing. But I think if we take into account all the other programs that we have going on at this point in time, it's probably going to be exactly the way that Joe goes on to fight Cole in the finals, and with Cole winning it because of shenanigans, I guess. AEW loves the shenanigans. And that being said, I want Joe to go on and win it. I would love for him to go on and win that thing. Or even better, Kyle O'Reilly to win it, to win the semi-final match, and we go on to the end and we have the finger poke of doom.
I do not want to see that.
Just to make people completely lose their minds everywhere.
I honestly don't think they would disrespect Owen Hart's legacy like that.
I know. And we don't have any bros. We don't have any bros booking AEW at this point in time, bro. You know what, bro?
Bro, that was awesome, bro. You know, this was the Attitude Era, bro. We would have been beating them in the ratings, bro, because of the way we booked, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
Just as a side note, I've just clicked on the other page here. Maki Ito was the semi-finalist for Britt Baker in Britt Baker's match. Yeah. But Samoa Joe to win to beat Kyle O'Reilly and then to lose to Adam Cole in the finals. Don't want it to go down that way, but unfortunately, that's probably what's going to happen.
That's the more logical way I see it unfolding. Moving on to the other Owen Hart final match. This is the women's version. Now, for this one, like I said, we're recording this a week early. So on Dynamite, there's going to be 2 semi-final matches to determine the 2 women that will go on to face off at the pay-per-view. So for the purpose of the predictions video, we're going to get 2 points to whomever correctly guesses both the women that will go on to the finals, and another point for whomever correctly guesses who will win that match. So we have, it's either going to be Toni Storm or Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on either Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander. So seeing as, Kyle, again, being an ambassador for the women's division, I'm going to read out his predictions first so he doesn't get, pissed off when he sees this. So he's saying that, well, he's posted his stuff on the group, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like he's saying that Toni Storm and Ruby Soho will go on to the pay-per-view, and it will be Toni Storm beating Ruby Soho in the finals to win the cup. On Vaz's side, he is saying that it will be Britt Baker and Ruby Soho going on to the finals, and it will be Britt Baker that wins at the pay-per-view. So before I give you my predictions, Jeremy, let's hear what you have to say about this match.
I don't know. There's a few different interesting ways this could go down, but I probably see the whole thing being won by Britt Baker. And then probably you're going to see a couple where we're the Owen Hart tournament winners overall type thing. And we've got matching trophies or belts or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So I see her winning the thing overall. So she's probably going to beat Toni Storm. She's probably going to beat Toni Storm with shenanigans. That's probably going to be how it's going to go down. And then on the other side, I don't see Ruby Soho going to the final. They've just repackaged. Alien Chick. I can't remember. Statlander.
Yeah.
And I do like her whole aesthetic and the way it comes across. I would have loved for her to be either for her to go over to AEW or for one. What is her name? Why can I not remember this lady's name? What is the name of the girl that's in with Edge?
Rhea Ripley.
Can you not see Rhea Ripley and her being in a tag team and being absolutely unstoppable?
Ripley and Soho.
No.
Wow.
Ripley and Statlander.
No, actually, I'm. You see, when I think of Rhea Ripley, I think of her similarities with Soho, more especially the lipstick that they wear. I could see them in a tag team.
Makeup.
And Statlander.
Really? Makeup, not athletic, not bold or anything like that. You're looking at makeup.
Listen, I grew up on Ruthless Aggression. Bra and panties was what I saw every week.
Next week, listeners, if you're listening, Naushad Khan will be hosting a makeup tutorial. Please join us.
Yeah. Yes. I'm preparing already.
Next week on makeup tutorials with Naushad Khan.
Draw on the eyebrows.
No, but I could see a tag team with Rhea Ripley and Chris Statlander. I think that would be something very interesting, especially now that she's moved away from the whole alien thing. Yeah.
But never gonna let that one go on.
No, that was weird. And as much as I like the weird stuff, I think that was I'm not sure what it was. It was something. Not sure what it
I don't
was.
know. When Chris Statlander used to come out with that alien kind of face paint, the only song that will play in my head is "Extraterrestrial" by Katy Perry, and I think that would have been a great theme song for her.
Well, Tony Khan likes to buy and license original music, so you don't know.
Yeah,
Happen.
there's a possibility.
Yeah, but let's get ourselves back on track here. I think I've taken us off on a tangent here.
Yep.
Tony Storm and Britt Baker, with Britt Baker winning there, and obviously, Jamie Hayter is probably going to jump Storm at some point there to get her Britt into the final, and then Ruby Soho. I don't know what's happening with Ruby Soho. I
Yeah.
would like for her
She
to
was
do
such.
something. She seems a little bit lost in the shuffle at this point in time.
Yeah, she does.
So I don't know. But I don't see her going over on Statlander. They've just repackaged Statlander very recently, so I see her at least going through to the final. Maybe a Soho turn. Maybe Soho turns and goes through. I don't know. But no, I see Statlander winning over Soho, and then Britt Baker winning overall. I don't see it happening any other way.
Okay, so you're going with Dr. Britt Baker and Chris Statlander as the two finals, and Britt Baker winning the whole thing.
Yeah, and then for the next until the next tournament, Baker and they're gonna be insufferable, man. We're not gonna hear the end of this. We are literally not gonna hear of the end of Adam Cole, baby, and Britt Baker winning those things. Matching tournament. I think they might be the first couple that wins a tournament together. I'm not too sure. So I think there's an opportunity for some history making stuff here. But yeah, I don't. That's the way I see it.
Well, listen, as much as that would be great, and I think could be the way that this goes down, is that a couple wins. I'm really torn about what Britt Baker is. Is she a heel or a face? Because that plays into my whole theory of how I see it playing out.
No, you see, the thing is, I've realized something. AEW do something very interesting. It's like the Bret Hart phenomena back in the day, where he was a heel everywhere else except when he went to Canada. And the same thing with Shawn Michaels, where he was a face everywhere else except when he went to Canada. And it's the same thing.
And the same thing with MJF. He's a heel everywhere else except in Long Island.
And now CM Punk is
everywhere else
as well.
Except Long Island. Yep.
and I think that's the good thing, where they don't try and shoehorn the fans where it's like, oh no, you have to cheer this guy. This is because I'm good shit, pal. So you have to cheer this guy.
We don't have a Tony.
You have CM Punk coming out there with the shirt, and if you're a fan of ice hockey, you know exactly why he wore that particular shirt with that particular name on it. And I think I am softening on AEW in general, and I know I'm gonna pay for this at some point, and maybe CM Punk. Maybe. Come back to that. That's our other point.
I know there are certain members of the Pro Wrestling Central group that are probably going to give you flack for that.
Yeah,
someone
probably.
with a
Probably.
And I am talking about Pete.
Yep.
That would be a phenomenon. Coming over to my predictions. The way I see this whole tournament playing out is that the winner of the men's cup is going to get a world title shot at some point, and the winner of the women's cup is going to get a women's title shot at some point. Now, if I'm looking at the way that the women's championship is going and who I think is going to win, my whole thing is it's got to be a heel. No. It's going to be a face who wins this tournament. And that's why I'm a bit torn on what Britt Baker is, because she seems to be a face, but she's still got her heelish gimmick in her. So it's hard to tell what she really is. But if I'm looking at who's going to go on to the final, for me, on the one side, it's easy. I see Chris Statlander beating Ruby Soho and going on to the final. And honestly, between Toni Storm and Britt Baker, I'm torn. But booking logically, I can see Britt Baker going over on Toni Storm. So we got Baker and Statlander as my two finalists. And the one to win it all is going to be. I wanted to say Chris Statlander because of how I see the women's match playing out. But if I'm looking at it logically, I'm going to go with Dr. Britt Baker for the win. Whether she goes on to win the title or not, because she's had such a lengthy reign until Rosa dethroned her, that remains to be seen. But I honestly see it's going to be Baker and Statlander in the finals, and Britt Baker DMD is going over for the win. So that's my prediction for the Women's Cup. Going on to the match that was in question just a moment ago by me, that is the AEW Women's World Championship. That is Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb for that title. Now, I'm going to give you guys my predictions right off the bat. Thunder Rosa, when she won the title, it was the right call to make because I feel like it was time for Baker's reign to end and it was time for Rosa to finally get the title that she's been wanting for over a year. They had that whole package and that whole 1 year storyline play out, which is good. But I feel like now is Serena Deeb's time. She's waited patiently, agonizingly long. She's been through this whole lengthy storyline with Holy Shida, Hikaru Shida, and now it's the time. She's been pining and waiting at the top of the rankings for far too long. It is time for Serena Deeb not only to get her title shot, but to go on and win the AEW Women's Championship. So I'm going with Serena Deeb for the win because I think it is time for her to win the title. And that's where I was looking at who could win the women's title because it looks like whoever wins the Women's Cup is going on to face Deeb for that title. So I'm torn. Is Baker a face or a heel? I could see Baker turning face and then going on to face Deeb because Deeb is a heel. So that's the way I see it playing out. I was going to say Statlander, but then I realized to myself, face heel turns are a thing, although they're not as rapid as Big Show's face heel turns, or as he's known now in AEW as Paul White. But yeah, that's my prediction. I'm going with Serena Deeb for the win. She's going to walk up with the women's title. Kyle is going with Thunder Rosa for the win. So that's that. And Vaz is actually also with Kyle in this one. He's going with Thunder Rosa for the win. So Jeremy, you're up. Are you going with Deeb or Rosa?
I don't get this. I don't get what has happened with Rosa at all. Not even for a second. It makes no sense. Why book her to win that title and then do absolutely nothing with her for weeks on end? It makes no sense to me. This booking is straight out of the WWE, to be very honest with you. This has WWE booking written all over it because you've booked this person to win a title and for weeks afterward you've now forgotten about her. They've done nothing with her. She's had I think one defense against who is it?
What a name. I know who you're talking about, but I forgot her name. That chick, whoever she was.
And I mean, it's frustrating. I mean, it would be frustrating to think that now you've barely had a run with this title. You've barely had a run with it, and you've just given up. So Nyla Rose, who, by the way, if you follow her on Twitter, she's probably one of the funnier people on Twitter, just by the way. Just putting it out there.
Oh.
Nyla Rose is hilarious. And she's trans. She's transitioned over. But you still get mouth breathers out there that say some pretty nasty things toward this lady. And the way she puts them in their place, what's following, guys? Just saying, Nyla Rose. But I don't understand it, guys. I don't understand any of this booking. That being said, um, I don't know whether it's the right time to move the belt or not. So I think I'm gonna just say now they're gonna keep the belt on her for a while.
Mhm.
Maybe we have a rematch at some stage with the Dr. Britt Baker. Are we is it contractually? Do you have to say the whole thing when you say it, Dr. Britt Baker? You have to say the whole thing.
Yeah,
Or
it's like
you say
it's like Seth freaking Rollins. You have to say Dr. Rebecca DMD.
and do the whole thing every single time.
MD. Yeah.
Nah, it's all
I'm
right.
contractually obligated as a
Okay,
CEO to do that.
you do that. I'm fine. I'm okay.
You guys are
But
off
look,
the hook. I'm more the time with you.
I'm gonna stick with Rosa. I like her ring work. But that being said,
Mhm.
I like Serena Deeb's promo from this past week. I think she hits a lot of nails on the head. I
Yeah.
like when they do the reality thing, and it's like genuine reality. It's not being shoehorned in there for the sake of it. Um,
Mhm.
but that being said, I think I'm gonna stick with Thunder Rosa and her from the graveyards of Tijuana. I think I'm gonna stick there. It's the weirdest place that I've ever heard somebody being from. But yeah,
Yeah.
stick with her.
It's like for me, it's like if the Undertaker came to the AEW, he'd be like, "Oh my God, what is the Mortician doing in the Dynamite Zone?" That's how I look at it.
No, you can't look contractually. You can't say mortician. That's too close. So it would be like mortician's assistant or something like that.
from
The
from Paul
cremator,
Bearer's funeral parlor.
the cremator.
The cremator.
Who's put the
That's
lights
the
off again?
that's gonna get us torn off the air if I was to go down that route and call him the cremator.
You know what?
There'd be
I know we've yet to get to that match, but
just
when
put
we
the dot
get
on
to
the
the
head.
House of Black versus Death Triangle match, I'm probably going to have a bit of a rant. So you have been warned.
Should I skip the other two matches and get to that one and come back to
Nah,
the others later?
let's go in order. Let's go in order.
Okay. All right. So the reason it looks like you, Vaz, and Kyle are all going with Thunder Rosa. I'm the lone wolf going with Serena Deeb here, and I'm not talking about Baron
Don't
Corbin.
you think it's
But the reason
too soon though, bro?
No, I mean Serena Deeb's waited too long. It's time for it. I mean, Thunder Rosa's done nothing for the title. Yes, she was great when she won it, but what has she done for the title? She hasn't elevated it. I mean, the people. Well, you can't blame booking to say that whoever's come up against it hasn't
That's who
been
we blame.
pushed enough.
And there's only one person to blame on that. That's Tony. That's the only person. He's in charge of it.
He's in charge of the booking. Yeah, I need to have a word with my family member over there, Tony, and tell. I'm gonna put the hard word on him.
That almost ended in disaster for my laptop. Tea almost came out my nose. Thanks so much for
I
timing that.
saw that. I'm glad. I'm glad to be responsible for your mishaps. Moving on to the three-way tag team match. Every time I see a three-way tag team match, there's a part of me that watched the Ruthless Aggression era and parts of the Attitude era and wants to say triangle tag team match.
Mhm.
But I'll go with the official three-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. We have in this the defending champions Jurassic Express, that is Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with Christian Cage, taking on Team Taz's Ricky Starks, who is also the FTW champion, and Powerhouse Hobbs, taking on Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland for the title. So just to give you guys an idea of Kyle's prediction is Jurassic Express. Vaz is going with Keith Lee and Swerve for the win. So he's throwing a really swerve on all of us. But before I give you guys my prediction, Jeremy, what's your thoughts on this triangle tag match?
I think it's about time that Jungle Lad and Dinosaur Boy lose the title. I'm sorry, but when I started watching AEW, I really liked the fact that Jungle Boy they were doing stuff with Jungle Boy. I never really understood the whole dinosaur thing. As much as I said I like goofy wrestling, I think with him, he looks very awkward in the ring. I think Luchasaurus looks very awkward. I think he could I think that's one of the reasons why they probably put Cage with them to try and work with them
Right.
and get him to be on a bit of a better level. But I don't know. He's one of those things I think AEW have dropped or have missed on. As a result, I think it's actually hurting Jungle Boy a bit more because he's packaged with Luchasaurus, and I think they've got rid of the smaller guy. Marco Stunt, the guy that they literally used just to throw around. See, you even forgot there was another guy in there.
Because I always do Jurassic Express as a 3-man team, not a 4-man team. So when Cage came in and usurped Stunt's role, I was like, exactly. Oh yeah, that dude.
There we go. See? But I think what's going to happen is, and I think they've been teasing it for a while, is that Cage is probably going to turn on them. And I think the final straw was probably this, or is probably coming up this week, because there's a 3-way match that Cage basically booked without consulting them. So I think that's probably going to be one of the issues that they have. So I see Cage turning on them. I personally don't want Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs to have any tag team gold, because the moment that happens, we're not going to see Powerhouse Hobbs as the singles guy that we need him to be. Hobbs needs to be that singles guy. I've watched a few matches recently, some of Hobbs' stuff as well, and he's just getting better. I think he's one of those guys that's probably going to be in Wardlow's in the whole Wardlow mix really soon. Really, really, really soon. That being said, I think just by process of elimination, they need to do something, anything with Keith Lee that doesn't involve him being a bear cat and wearing a tennis skirt to the ring. Keith Lee is probably
the worst thing to happen to him in WWE.
Is probably the most unlucky guy in the history of wrestling as far as booking is concerned. He left the WWE when he was in NXT. That was probably when I really, really enjoyed NXT, because he won both. He basically had both the belts, and then they moved him over to the main roster, completely screwed it up at every single turn. Just week after week of screw up. The guy goes over to AEW and he debuts really well. He debuts really, really, really well. The crowd is into him and everything else. And just from then, nothing. There's been nothing. They never should have booked him in that Sonic the Ring match, in that Sonic Ring match. They should have never told him that I don't even want to get into the fact that all those big guys should never have been in that ladder match. None of them.
Yeah.
But just by pure process of elimination, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, they need something to happen for them right now. And I think that's probably where Vaz is going with his as well.
Well, my prediction is I'm going to disappoint all of you, and I'm going to tell you why.
That sounds like something you tell your girlfriend. I'm going to disappoint you, and I'm going to tell you why.
I don't know why, but I'm gonna fire back with I think you're talking with from experience. So that's how I'm gonna use it. Here's why I think how this whole thing's gonna play out. Listen, even though Christian Cage, yes, I do see the storyline going towards where he's going to turn on Jurassic Express, and it's probably going to start with Jungle Boy because all this hugging and then the walking off during the backstage segments and all that's leading up to that. I don't see him costing them the titles though. I don't think he's going to be that petty. Looking at Team Taz, Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. Look, Starks already has the FTW championship, and Powerhouse Hobbs doesn't need a title. He's a monster all on his own. He doesn't need a title right now. Looking at Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, I don't even know how they ended up becoming a tag team and getting tossed into this whole thing. It's like them just being embroiled in a feud with Team Taz. That's how this whole thing came about. So I don't know why, and I don't see them with the titles just yet. So I don't see them winning. I see Jurassic Express still holding on to the titles and walking out because logically, I don't see Starks and Hobbs with the title. I don't see Strickland and Lee with the title either. It just, at this point, it's too soon. I think it's going to be Jurassic Express walking out with the title, and Christian Cage, I think, yes, down the line, maybe going towards All Out in August, he's going to turn on Jurassic Express because right now we're still in the simmering stage. We're still in the warm-up stage of that storyline. I only see it heating up, pardon the pun, I see it heating up somewhere around the summer. So that's where I see this whole Christian Cage boiling over. But for now, I think Jurassic Express are still going to keep the titles. So I'm going with Jurassic Express for the win. Moving on to the other tag match on the card. There's quite a lot of tag matches on this card. I just noticed.
1 second before you continue. So what you're saying is you want Ricky Starks to just hold on to his imaginary belt then?
I look at FTW title as an officially recognized. It's not like the $1 million belt, okay? The $1 million belt wasn't until a certain point. It wasn't a.
Don't bring the $1 million belt into this. You can go too far.
That's how it was.
That's a legitimate belt.
Until a certain point, it was unsanctioned by the Fed. Are you forgetting that?
Whether it was sanctioned or not. It was held by the $1 million man. It was held by some of the greatest people and Virgil. Yes, just for the record.
It was unsanctioned, okay? Until a certain point, it was an unsanctioned belt. That's how the FTW title was unsanctioned when it started off, but now it's becoming a sanctioned belt because people are competing for it. Jungle Boy just competed for it not so long ago. That's what led to this whole storyline with
I'm going off to get some cardboard, and I'm going to make myself a title, and then I'm going to have a match with my son, and then it's going to be sanctioned and then it's going to be a recognized belt. Ha ha!
That's basically what Taz did. That's basically except Hook has never held it.
I'm gonna make my own damn belt.
So, anyways, moving on to the Anarchy in the Arena match, which I'm assuming is basically like an all-out tornado tag, freaking 10-man cluster. You know what?
That match. That word. Yes.
Yeah. It's a cluster, you know what, of a match. We have, God damn it, there's a lot of names on this card, on this match rather. The Jericho Appreciation Society, that is Chris Jericho, Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, Daniel Garcia, and Jake Hager versus Kingston, Santana Ortiz, and the Blackpool Combat Club, Brian Danielson and John Moxley with William Regal. Before I go on and say anything further, did you see what happened on Rampage just this past Friday with Brian Danielson and the Ram?
With his foot?
Yes.
Thankfully, he's not hurt. Look, thankfully he's not hurt.
Yeah.
That could have gotten bad really fast.
My question is, how did that happen? I mean, they had that kind of ramp in WCW for ages. That had never happened to anybody.
I think it's probably, look, I mean, if you've seen some of the way the guys move in the ring, if you hit the ropes hard enough, you probably could move that ring. Well, not you personally. I mean, you've got to wait.
You maybe, yeah.
Me
You
probably,
maybe.
yes.
You're
Probably
a
if I hit
heavyweight, I'm a
those ropes, I
cruiserweight.
could move them. But no, in all seriousness, I think that ring probably moved. I think even a millimeter or so. That's enough of a gap. I'm just glad Brian's okay. I'm just glad
Yeah.
after everything that man's been through, for him to be back doing what he is doing.
Mhm.
I don't want anything bad to happen to him. I don't know why. That brings me right along to this match. I don't know why he would be in this match.
When I saw him limping
Every
away
time
after
I
the
see
whole
one
thing,
of these matches,
damn, people badly hurts.
and every time I see one of these matches, it's always Jericho on the other side. Every time you
Yeah,
have
I
matches,
noticed this. Yeah, I've noticed this. It's always Jericho on the other side of the ring, or the other side of the stadium. In the
or the
case of the
stadium,
Stampede.
or falling off a cage, or doing something, or falling into orange juice. Guys, has Jericho really become? He's not even the wizard anymore. He's just like, and I don't know if Vass feels the same, but I used to like Jericho. I really used to like. I still like Jericho. I'm not sure what he's up to though. I really don't know.
He's almost like turning into Mick Foley at this point.
No,
He's
but
becoming
look,
hardcore.
Foley's matches were hardcore matches. It was one-on-one matches. It wasn't every single match needed to be a stipulation match, needed to have 6 guys in it, needed to have. And here's the thing, I'm pretty sure every single one of these matches that Jericho is involved in has a storyboard. I guarantee you it has a storyboard. I guarantee you they have a meeting going into it, planning out what spot's going to be from here. And we got to put this ladder up before we start. And we got to have this up. Fight me in the comments. Fight me in the comments. I am so sure that's what Jericho does for every single match. And yes, to a certain extent, it has its place. It has its place, but not every single match, Chris. And he's good, and he's good at doing these matches. Chris Jericho on a one-on-one match with anybody else, Chris still goes. So I don't know why
We saw
he has to have this gang warfare for every single one of his matches going forward now.
It's almost as if like same thing with Kofi Kingston. You know, the spots at the Royal Rumble. It's the same thing they're doing with Jericho and these matches.
They've actually made it. They've actually made it really. And I don't want him to be that now. And now he's a wizard.
The Wizard of Oz.
Sports entertaining. He literally went from, okay, I understood when they filed for the whole sports entertainer trademark and everything else. But the wizard, and now Eddie Kingston is in there. Eddie Kingston is a guy that, for me, he's a straight guy. He should be in one-on-one matches. He should be having these. Kingston should be up at the top of the card. Not with this. Not with this. You got the tag matches. Jake Hager, I mean, thank God we don't hear him on the mic anymore. I think he just stands around at this point in time just wondering how the hell he's gotten himself into the situation. You don't believe me? Google Jake Hager. Look at his face. He's always, every single promo, he's just like standing there like, what am I doing?
During the headline.
Even if you look at the stuff that he wears to the ring now, when there's a promo going on, it doesn't even look like he puts any gear on anymore. It's like, I just got here in my tennis shoes and my shorts, and that's how I'm in the ring right now. And then on the other side, you have Santana and Ortiz that look like they literally are there for like 2 or 3 hours beforehand, putting their face paint and everything else into it, and then you get to the ring and then you see Jake Hager there in his tennis shoes. Really?
While these guys out there in suits and stuff,
I
he's
mean,
like,
seriously, look at the way they look, and then you look at the way Jake Hager looks, and then you look at the guys from 2.0. I don't know what's going on here. And I'm not even talking about the other guys from the Blackpool Combat Club, because all we need to do is, if somebody could tell me in the comments, anybody could tell me why Moxley is now part of a group that comes down together, and how does it work? Does he like go off during the entrance? Like they see each other at the back and it's like, okay, I'm going to go to the car park and walk in from there. You guys walk down the ramp. If anybody could tell me how that works.
It's like the Shield coming up from the crowd.
Can you imagine the Shield doing that? The Shield doing that. They all go, the three of them go up to the top, and it's like Dean Ambrose is like, okay, I'll go and grab a Uber.
I'll meet you inside the arena.
I don't get it. Dean Ambrose's entrance, okay, I understood when he was by himself. Making that entrance when you're by yourself, coming in through the crowd, great. No problem.
It comes to himself.
You're now part of a group. You're part of this group. Come in with the rest of your guys.
He's like, I come in my own time,
It's baffling. It's absolutely baffling. Yeah, but anyway, if I had to really be forced into this one, I'm gonna go Blackpool Comedy Club with the
Comedy
Santana. I'm gonna go with them. I don't see if Jericho and his guys have to win this match again. If they have to win another one of these matches, I really don't know. I don't even think Undertaker won every single one of his casket matches.
That was quite the tangent you went on. That's quite entertaining.
Yeah, that wasn't even the match that I was that was. Yeah, but anyway, let's move along.
Well, looking at Vaz's predictions, he's actually going with you on this one. He's going with the Eddie Kingston. He actually called Santana and Ortiz proud and pride.
Yes.
And instead of saying the Blackpool Combat Club, which is BCC, he typed BBC, which I informed him means something else when you're part of.
We can't say that on there. We can't say that.
He covered it up by saying that he was actually Googling the British Broadcasting Commission and not the other kind.
Sure, Vass. We're sure that's exactly what you were searching for.
And then we have Kyle. Oh, Kyle. I don't know what his prediction is. He says the Jericho team. I don't know what that is. I know about the Jericho Appreciation Society, but he's just going the Jericho team. So I'm going to help him out and say that he's predicting the Jericho Appreciation Society to win.
Kyle doesn't know that Alexa Bliss is not part of that group, right?
I don't know if he knows that. Maybe he's confused. Maybe he thinks that Tay Conti is part of the group too. I don't know. Before I get to my prediction, actually something just went off in my head as you were talking. This is actually the first time since I think AEW Full Gear that you and I have been on a video alone together. And it's another AEW pay-per-view that we're predicting. So this is interesting to say the least. Going on to my predictions. This is, like I said, it's going to be a cluster you-know-what of a match. There's going to be plenty of spots. This is going to be an all-out spot fest. There's no nice way of saying this. This is just going to be an absolute spot fest. You're not going to see any real wrestling out of the Blackpool Combat Club that you're used to seeing in their usual matches with Danielson. Moxley fits in very well with this match. So too does Kingston. Santana and Ortiz can be hardcore when they want to be. As for the Jericho Appreciation Society, the only two men that stand out for me is, of course, Jericho and Hager. Because the other three guys aren't, they're just like, I liken them to edgeheads. That's how they look like to me. They're just there along for the ride, just to give Jericho some backstops to work with and guys to help mold and make into better stars. That's how I see that. The whole Jericho Appreciation Society looking to me. When I'm looking at a winner, I want to say that it would be Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz, and BCC. Reason being is the BCC can't really be at a loss here. They're just starting out, they need a win. And Eddie Kingston needs redemption against Jericho for, that whole phone call that happened on Rampage a couple of weeks ago where he said that his wife was so traumatized after he got beaten up so badly. And, Jericho blew a fireball in his face because he's a wizard. That's where the whole wizard thing came out. And I honestly don't see them winning, though. See, here's the thing. In this match, the BCC could be exempt for a loss. The reason I say that is because they're in there with four other guys, or at least three other guys who could take the fall. It would be an X against their name. They lost because of the other dudes. And the reason I say this is because just this past week on Dynamite, there was tensions drawn by Chris Jericho between Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson, where Jericho brought up what Danielson said about Kingston and what Kingston said about Danielson, and both were honest and they yes, and this is what they said about each other. And it was furthered even more when the JAS walked out at the end of the promo, and Kingston was going to go out after them, and Danielson held it back, and there was this whole tension, and Kingston turned to Moxley and was like, "Get your boy, get him out of my face." So I think, yes, during the match, Eddie Kingston is going to get his hands on Jericho. He's going to get his measure of revenge against Jericho for a little bit. Then the tensions between Danielson and Kingston are going to play out. The Combat Club against Santana Ortiz and Kingston. The Jericho Appreciation Society is going to get the upper hand, and that's how the JAS is going to get their win. They keep their momentum going. The Blackpool Combat Club goes and moves on into a feud. It's going to be Moxley, Danielson, and hopefully Wheeler Utah getting back involved against Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. And that's going to be, a stable match, a six-man tag match, maybe on Dynamite or moving on to All Out, although All Out's quite a while away from now. But, 3 months, they can build up a good storyline there. But yeah, for this one, I'm going with the Jericho Appreciation Society for the win. So I'm with Kyle on this one, unfortunately, and I hate being there. I hate being close to Kyle's prediction. I do not want to be in a relegation battle against him. But I mean, we're still like, 6 months out from the end of the year. So I still got time. To get away from him. Moving along, we're coming to the match that, Jeremy, I know you have a tangent or a rant of some sort to go on, and I'm going to get pissed off at you because it involves one of my favorite guys. You have the House of Black. That is Malachi Black, Bunny Matthews, and Brody King taking on the Death Triangle. That's Penta Oscuro, Ray Phoenix, and my guy, the Boston Pac. Okay? So, Jeremy, you want to go on your rant before I go everyone's predictions? Go ahead. Let's hear it.
I mean, if you look at the guys in this match, they're all talented. They're all ridiculously talented. You have Mr. Black himself that came over, and we all thought that he was going to be the top of the tree. At this point in time, all he's literally done was play with the lights. He's probably had one of the worst segments on AEW TV a few weeks back, where they were confronted by what is it, the Hollywood Blondes 2.0. He spat black liquid at that little girl, and missed her completely. Then you have Buddy Murphy that debuted to absolutely nothing. Buddy Murphy came in, and I'm sorry, I'm going to use the WWE names here because I have no idea what they call currently. He debuted. The first problem is he's with two guys that are completely tattered almost from head to toe, and he basically looks like stationary at the beginning of the year. That's what he looks like. He looks like an exam pad that I buy my kids at the beginning of the year, and it hasn't been touched. Not at all. If you guys can't see how this doesn't work already, just from an aesthetic point of view, just from the look, you know what? He doesn't fit in there. That first of all. Then you got Dead Triangle. Dead Triangle, you got another ridiculously talented guys. You've got Park, who as the head of the elves should know better. He should be right at the top of the card as well. I mean, think about it. Where would you put him? Where would you put him? You'd have him right at the top. You'd have him working single matches. Everybody in this match looks like they've just been paired together. Then you have Penta Oscuro. Okay, go ahead. Start writing. You have Penta and you have Alex Abrahantes. Alex Abrahantes, if anybody knows why he started wearing a robe for a few weeks, I would appreciate the answer. If anybody, this guy, just by the way, I know those of us on South African TV would have no idea about this, but he works on the Home Shopping Network. He sells things to people during the day. And then if you have the same channel on long enough, you see the same guy on later on in a robe for some reason. Why? Anybody? Why are we doing that? No? Nobody. You have Phoenix that came back. And from quite a nasty injury at that.
Yeah.
And his entry, his re-debut, if I can just paint this to you. He came out and they did the same thing that they did with everybody else. The lights went off. Right? This match should have a sponsor, and it should say proudly sponsored by Escom. Right at the top. That's the way they should bring this match to us. During that match, in his re-debut, he was behind three guys. Right? Three quite large individuals. He was in his entry gear. He didn't come down ready to fight. He had time to take off his gear. The bad guys had time to watch him. They watched him take off his gear. And then they gave him an opportunity to attack. Guys, I've been in fights before. And nobody would ever give you the opportunity to change your clothes first, and then to throw the first shot on top of that. I don't know. I'm sorry. This match, this whole thing. I know this is gonna be like flippy dippy doodah, and Nash is going to absolutely love this match because he likes the flippy things. That being said, I don't know. I think just because of Phoenix coming back, I think they probably give it to Dead Triangle. But aside from that, I don't see it. I think this is one of the things that Tony Khan has really dropped the ball on. And for that matter, if you go over to the other channel that gets so much wrong, the House of Edge actually have shown Aleister Black how to do his thing better than they were doing. I'm sorry. You do realize that, right?
Yeah.
The one thing on Raw that they get right, the one thing on Raw that they get right is the Edge stuff. The House of Edge, as everyone now seems to be calling it. Aleister Black
I
is
think
probably watches that thing every week and probably needs a new TV directly afterward, because if I was Aleister Black, I would throw something at that TV every week. Every time I saw Edge on TV. Like literally, he's doing what I want to do better. I'm
Well, that was
who did
quite
I
the
go?
rant. So you're going with Death Triangle for the win?
Yeah, you're probably not even gonna see the finish coming, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably gonna be stuff happening outside. Yeah, I don't know.
Or it could be the most devastating move in all of WWE. The
It's probably
schoolboy
gonna be
roll up.
that. It's probably gonna be
Yeah,
that. It's probably gonna be a roll up.
That's how I see it playing out. Going on to Baz's predictions, he's actually going with House of Black for the win. Surprise, surprise. Kyle is also going with House of Black. So you're going with Death Triangle. And before I give you my predictions, I think you saw during your rants. Again, I have been taking notes, so let me get on with it. A lot of people are calling it the House of Edge, but it's actually the Judgment Day. And I think it actually came out from that whole Judgment Day poster that Edge was on in 2009. And he actually has the scale nowadays, and he does that same thing with the scale. So it's nice to see that they go back to very old 12, 13-year-old posters for their names on their stables, which is nice to see. That was a great rant. I enjoyed that. And you took the words right out of my mouth when I said the sponsor for this match is ESCOM. And for those watching overseas, there's no easy way to explain it. It's a very difficult thing to explain when we talk about ESCOM here in South Africa. So just Google load shedding on Google, and yeah, we'll come up and you'll see what this whole thing is about. The whole thing where you mentioned that where Phoenix was allowed to take his gear off and was allowed to attack, that actually takes me back to Dragon Ball Z. If you ever watched the episode of Dragon Ball Z, they go at the bad guy one by freaking one. They take on Frieza, Cell, and whichever freaking guy one by one. My logic would be all of you guys attack him at once. Then you would defeat him in one episode. Like that's pure logic. Frieza and Goku would not have gone on that long if they all went to Planet Namek together to fight him. That's how I look at this whole thing. So I think there's a whole DBZ logic going on there. And you're right. This is going to be my favorite match of the night because Flippy Dippy Weirdo, like you said, that's my nickname. I love these kind of matches. And
at some point, if they know you're watching, they're probably going to pull a ladder out for no apparent reason.
No apparent reason. It might have been a hardcore match, but you're going to see a ladder anyway. And if I ever hear you say or refer to Park as an elf or an hobbit ever again, it will
I
be
thought I got
soon.
away with that.
You're not going to get away with that. As long as I have a pen and a notepad, you'll never get away with it. Never.
I cannot get over. I know it's changed a lot, and I like the look that he has now. But you know that picture that I always send to you on the group. That picture of him when he was still when he was still in WWE.
Mighty Mouse.
And that was some bad booking. That was as yeah. No, let's just go past that, man.
Let's sit about that together. It's a sore point.
Yeah.
I think the King of the Cruiserweights was as best as he got, and that's what gave birth to Fasted.
I don't think Vince knows what to do with anybody that's a cruiserweight. I really don't.
That's why I was so appreciative that Triple H was booking the Cruiserweight Classic that year, because if Vince had done it, he would have botched it. The moment Vince put his hands on 205 Live, I knew it was over. I knew that whole Cruiserweight division was not going to survive very long.
Yeah. The first thing he did,
But yeah,
the first thing he did was put the belt on somebody that wasn't a cruiserweight.
yeah, TJP, really. How? How does that even work? Anyways, I'm going with my sentimental favorite for the win, the Death Triangle, just because it's got Park in it.
Yep.
And then yes, I think it's about time the House of Black got got served, because I mean, after the weeks and months of them running on top, to have them win over the Death Triangle right now, so soon after Phoenix had his debut, just doesn't make any sense to me. So that's why I'm going with Death Triangle for the win. And yeah, I think I gave you Vaz and Kyle's predictions. So let's move on to the next match on the card. We've got 3 more to get through. And this one is a closet dream match of mine. I know I don't say it often, but ever since I found out that the Young Bucks, one of their names was Matt Jackson, I was like, I have to see them take on the Hardys at some point, because it would be a dream match to see Matt Hardy and Matt Jackson across the ring from each other. So it is the Hardys, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, versus the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson with Brandon Cutler. Standard tag team match. And I like the fact that the Hardys have brought along their theme song with them. It's nice to see that a theme song that was used in WWE is being used in AEW, and the same thing goes with CM Punk.
I think it's more because that music, that particular piece of music is like public domain, so you can use that. Anybody's allowed to use it.
I thought it was owned by Jeff Hardy because he has a rock band. If I'm not mistaken, I thought it was his music.
It could be, but I've heard it's just from an IP perspective, I think it's freeware. I think I don't think anybody owns the rights to it.
Yeah, but like I was saying, it's nice to see that a theme song that we're all familiar with is being used, like Cult of Personality for CM Punk. It was used in WWE, it's used in his very short-lived MMA career, and it's now being used in the AEW. We're going to skim over the MMA part. We're not going to talk about that. It's a very sore point. But anyways, moving on. We're talking about the Hardys match right now. We'll get to that later. I said that this is a dream match of mine because I always want to see the Young Bucks versus the Hardys, and I'm glad that this closet match dream is coming true. And for the win, because it's the Hardys, I'm going with the Hardys for the win, because I feel like they need the win more than the Young Bucks. Even though I would say if this match was happening in WWE, they'll probably put the Young Bucks over the Hardys to give these kids the rub. But in this situation, since it's all elite wrestling, I see the Bucks dropping to the Hardys, because the Hardys actually need that credibility more than the Young Bucks do right now. The Young Bucks, I don't think they're going to do much with them where the tag titles are concerned. I mean, were they not the longest reigning tag team champions in AEW history? I don't think they can do anything more with them as a tag team at the top of that division. So, yeah, I'm going with the Hardys for the win. Vaz is going... Yeah, Vaz is also going with the Hardys, and Kyle is also going with the Hardys. So 3-for-3 with the major players. So Jeremy, are you going with the Hardys, or are you going to go all left turn on us?
Look, I've done a quick Google. I've operated the Google machine, and the Bucks and the Hardys have met before.
Oh,
they have met before. And it looks like it was some type of stadium match. And I think there might have been an ROH match as well in there. It's just that I can't find like proper stats on it. So the one the match that I just watched quickly, I just watched some highlights on it. The Hardys beat the Bucks.
Oh.
I'm gonna go with the Hardys as well, just because I don't think they've done anything much with the Hardys since they've come in. I think they could have done a lot better with them. I don't understand some of the booking choices they've been in, like why you would put Jeff Hardy in a match with Darby Allin, an unsanctioned match. It makes it, I don't know, no sense there. But anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna go. I'm not gonna do any more tangents. I'm gonna try and behave now. I'm just gonna go with the Hardy Boys for the win on this one. I don't see it going any other way. Maybe I know they've been teasing that Omega's in the back, and Omega's back. Not in a physical role, but he's in the back. Maybe if he gets involved somehow, but yeah, I'm just gonna go with the Hardys for now.
Okay, so you're going with the Hardys for the win.
Yeah, boo.
All right. Before we get to the main event, there is one match that hasn't yet been announced on the card because,
The actual
like I
main
said,
event. The actual main event.
well, that's actually, yeah, I actually am going to agree with you on that point because this storyline, for me personally, putting aside the world title, putting aside the Hardys, putting aside all the other matches, this storyline, for me personally, has been the most intriguing and interesting storyline I have seen on AEW since the MJF Punk storyline. That's how good. Anytime MJF is in a storyline, he just takes it to another level. For me, MJF is AEW. And if he ever goes to WWE, I feel so bad for Tony Khan, and I feel so bad for MJF because I just know what Vince McMahon's going to do to the poor little Jewish boy. I just know what's going to happen to him, and I don't want that to happen to him.
You know why MJF is good at in storylines? You know why? He's just better than you. That's why.
And I know it. And I know it. You're cosplaying MJF without the hair, yes. So
damn it.
Like I said, we're recording this a week ahead of the actual pay-per-view. Wardlow still has to take on Shawn Spears in a steel cage match, which on Dynamite, which should be quite interesting. But we're all expecting MJF versus Wardlow at Double or Nothing. So we're gonna go ahead and say that this match is gonna go on the show. So before I give my predictions and we get our predictions from Vaz and Kyle, who have through their predictions, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Jeremy, you're cosplaying MJF. Let's get your thoughts on this.
Okay, look, I would love to say that it's going to be MJF winning this whole thing, but I don't think you do all this build and you basically build Wardlow as this megastar the way they have. This absolute superstar. Maybe they swerve us at the last second. And put MJF over somehow. But I think he's a lot smarter and a lot better at this than people give him credit for. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Wardlow for the win. Look, Wardlow has been built like this absolute superstar. The way they've booked him, even the mistakes that they've made in between with the way they've like maybe used the security guards and everything else, they've recovered from that as well. They've recovered quite nicely from that as well. I don't see this going any other way except for Wardlow winning it. And at some point you're going to see, I would like to see Wardlow and MJF going at each other for the AEW title. So yeah, Wardlow for the win, but my guy MJF still at the top where he belongs. And
okay, well, my prediction, actually, I'm sticking with you on this one, is Wardlow, because I don't see this going any other way. They've done a very Batista-like build for Wardlow. I mean, breaking away from the stable of Spears and MJF. and going his own way. It takes me back to 2005 and Batista and Triple H's feud. So it was nice to see that. And listen, MJF has put Wardlow through a hell of a lot. Calling him a pig and handcuffing him, and this past week on Dynamite, just giving him an absolute beatdown. I don't see Wardlow losing at the pay-per-view, because if he does, what happens then? Where do we go with Wardlow if he loses? Whereas if he wins, he gets an AEW contract and he goes on to face bigger guys. And I'm hoping to see him versus Powerhouse Hobbs at some point. That is going to be a behemoth.
They have fought before.
No, but not like on a level of what was fighting for himself. I think it was him fighting for the pinnacle or the pineapple. Pineapple, apple pay.
I knew that was
so.
coming.
Yeah, I see.
The moment you said pineapple, I knew what was coming.
So I see Wardlow for the win. Although it's like a sore point that MJF has lost at how many pay-per-views now? I think he lost to Punk at Revolution. Now he's going to lose at Double or Nothing. But there's no other.
The wins and losses affect MJF at all. I think that guy is beyond. He's beyond the title. He's beyond wins and losses. He could lose every single match, and that just is going to make him a better heel. That's it.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Wardlow loses, there's nothing you can do with it. Wardlow has to win. If MJF loses, he can still come out the next week on Dynamite and say that, you know what, I'm better than Wardlow, and you know it. That's how I look at it. So that's why I'm going with Wardlow for the win. Without predictions for Vaz and Kyle. Kyle is the only one who sent me his prediction. I believe Vaz said that he messaged you his predictions just before we went on air. So for Kyle, he said that MJF versus Wardlow, his prediction to win is Alexa Bliss. I don't know where he gets this from. I don't think he knows that Alexa Bliss is not involved in this match whatsoever. What did Vaz message you? Because he SMS'd you his predictions.
I think Vaz would pick MJF. I think, knowing Vaz the way I do, and I text message. Actually, I do have a message from him. MJF. He just sent me 3 letters.
Okay. He just sent you 3 letters.
MJF.
The 3 most devastating letters in the AEW. Yeah, so we've locked in our predictions. You and I going with Wardlow, Vaz going with MJF, and Kyle, no surprise, is going with Alexa Bliss for the win on this one. Moving on to
not surprising. Not even a little bit.
Not surprising at all. Going on to the main event. This is the official main event advertised for AEW Double in 2022, and it is for the AEW World Championship. We have Hangman Adam Page taking on Jeremy's favorite wrestler of all time, CM Punk. So, Jeremy, take the floor.
Like Mussolini.
And Kennedy.
Look, the thing is, the booking for this match, I think it was a bit weird because they never, I think they might do it this week though, for this coming Dynamite. Because they haven't really, like, physically, thrown hands or anything going into the match. They've always just, like, brushed up against each other and things like that.
Yeah.
And then we saw CM Punk use the weirdest version of the buckshot lariat ever.
The Punk shot lariat.
I know a couple of people called it a buckshot lariat. That wasn't a buckshot lariat. That was literally a buckshot lariat and buffering. And then I'm not sure what that was. It was a nice attempt, but and I know nobody mentioned it. When I watched it, like, the most obvious part was he did the flip over the rope. Great flip over the rope, by the way. But then he needed to, like, stop, gather himself, and then throw the floats. That's terrible. I mean, it would be like, who can we use as an example? It would be like one of the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows, trying to do the phenomenal forearm and flipping over the top rope, stopping. And look, for them, it would be like this whole comedic thing, but this was supposed to come across seriously. I know I'm like dissecting one entire move here way too long, but um, I don't know. I don't think Punk should win it just yet. I don't think Punk should win it just yet, but at the same time, I think they've. I think this is the first time in Hangman Page's reign that he's faced somebody that I've thought anyway is like that's going to elevate him. I mean, some of the matches he's had in between there, he's had a Texas Death match against Lance Archer that we have no idea why they had it. It was the first match, and they had a Texas Death match. Then we had matches in between, and they were okay matches. They were good matches. They did what they needed to do. But as far as elevating him as a champion, I think this is probably going to be the first one. And I know everybody wants Punk to be the champ at the end of this. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we see CM Punk with that belt just yet. So I'm going to go with Page for now. I know I've seen Vass and everybody else going for CM Punk. I don't see it just yet. And I don't think a loss hurts him as bad as it hurts Page. I think Page losing to CM Punk the first time he like fights like somebody legit, like a really big name, and loses it. I think that hurts Page more. So just for that reason, I'm gonna go with Hangman Page for now.
Okay, well, I've had a look at Vaz and Kyle's predictions. Both of them are going with CM Punk. And I'm going to pull up Vaz here. And let me tell you why you're wrong. Okay? We're going to go with the Nash vision here. All right. And this is me going to be giving I'm going to give you my predictions, not because CM Punk is my sentimental favorite, but I'm looking at this from a logical standpoint. And I'm going to bring up something that you said at the last time we were paired up and we did our AEW Full Gear predictions. You said, and I quote, Hangman Adam Page should not win the AEW World Championship. He should see everyone get it, and he should come very close.
Yeah, the Dreamer push, the Tommy Dreamer push.
Yes, that's what you wanted for Page. And that didn't happen. Page got the title, and we all felt, okay, while Omega wants some time off, and he's getting a hell of a lot of time off, I think Adam Page's run has been lackluster, to say the least. Maybe it has something to do with the people he's faced, but look at the names. You've got people like Lance Archer. You've got Adam Cole, baby, who we faced like 2 or 3 times. You've got names there that are credible to a certain extent, while CM Punk is on the level of super credible in terms of his name and his credibility and where he's been. I don't think Hangman Adam Page's run has been as interesting as everyone wanted it to be. I thought that Adam Cole was going to dethrone Page back at Revolution, and that didn't happen. But I think it's time. I think it's time to take the belt off Page. He's been champ for 7 months, and he's done absolutely nothing with that title to elevate it. He's become an afterthought. He's been relegated to side promos in the middle of the show with Tony Schiavone in the ring on Dynamite. That's all we've seen him do. Talk about cowboy, you know what, doo-doo, and fighting with Dark Order. They're not fighting with Dark Order. They're being part of the Dark Order and not being part of the Dark Order. They're being a cowboy. They're being something else and fighting Adam with Adam. I don't know what's going on with this guy.
Hold on. I want to point something out to you. Do you know that the beginning part of what you just said is exactly what we used to say about CM Punk when he was in the WWE?
What do you mean?
Like, he's become an afterthought. They've done nothing with him. That's exactly what happened when he was champ in the WWE.
So it would be so poetic if CM Punk actually beats Hangman Adam Page and puts him out of his misery. That's where I'm going with this whole thing. I'm glad you picked up on it. Hangman Adam Page's run has been so lackluster that even though there are people who are saying it's too soon for Punk, even they know that Punk is going to win the title. Also, I'm taking into account the fact that when CM Punk came back, they said that there were some people backstage who didn't like the fact that he was back. And I think Hangman Adam Page was one of those guys who didn't like the fact that CM Punk was back. That's what I'm going off here. Is that Hangman Adam Page? Because if you look at the reaction that Page has every time he sees CM Punk, it's that look of rage and anger, like, what the hell are you doing here in my place? That's what Hangman Adam Page comes off as. And then I look at the promo that he cut, the very first promo he cut against Punk, where he told the Punk fans, "You're gonna burn the shirt you're gonna ask for a refund if you have to burn the damn thing already." And I think that Punk is going to beat Page, and after the match, being the face character that Punk is now, is going to offer his hand to Page, and Page is going to do that whole thing that he was doing with Omega not so long ago, where he smacks the hand away and he walks out of the ring disappointed. And this is what's going to lead to a heel turn. I see a heel turn coming very soon for Hangman Adam Page in the way this whole thing is going. So I'm going with CM Punk for the win in the main event of Double or Nothing. And that wraps up our predictions. This has been quite the lengthy video. We went through 11 goddamn matches. And we got to the end with these two guys. I'm glad that all four of the major players didn't come here. It would have been 3 hours.
This would have been a 3-hour video. Not
Yeah.
even not even a
taking into account Kyle and how he likes to write 300-word essays, that's how long this video would have been.
This is why Alexa Bliss will show up at AEW.
And that's not a prediction. That is a spoiler. So, guys, if you enjoyed this video, remember to smash that like button. Subscribe to Pro Wrestling Central if you haven't already. Comment down below, guys. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think of this pay-per-view down in the comment section below. If anybody's watching this video, I hope there are people who are watching us by now. And yeah, sorry. Not forgetting the scarf. You see, when Jeremy does AEW reviews, he's got the scarf, right? When he does WWE reviews, he's got the power of the headband. So he's got the power.
Baron Corbin shirt.
Oh yes, and your Baron Corbin shirt. Let's not forget that. You look like some farmer from the free state in that shirt. And the next time you come down to Durban and don't hit me up, you're gonna hear from me on this one.
Okay.
You can't just come down and see some other person and not see me. All right, that is rude. Indian culture, that is rude. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry for the disappointment in Kyle and Baz. Couldn't show up here today, but being the good Samaritans we were, we dropped the predictions for them, and I think they glad, with the MGF and Wardlow predictions, more especially. We didn't have to, but we did. You know why? Because Jeremy and I were better than them, and they know it. So, guys, thanks for watching. And before I go for it, guys, the theme still goes on. The color for Double or Nothing is red, so yeah, I'm keeping with the codes as I always do. So guys, like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you soon for another prediction. The next one, I believe, is going to be WWE Hell in a Cell. We're probably going to be recording that next. Yeah, and we're going to see you on that one. So guys, stay tuned to Pro Wrestling Central. A lot more content. Until next time, guys, I'm so sorry, Vance. I have to do this. From the bald eagle himself, Jeremy, and just CEO of PWC, your boy Nashville. Until next time, peace and chicken grease.